She called 911. Then the line went silent forever. At 2:17 a.m. on a cold Tuesday in October, a 911 operator in Marion County, Ohio, answered a call that would haunt her for years. All she heard at first was breathing, shallow, panicked, then a young woman's voice, tight, trembling, fighting tears. "Please, I need help. Someone's in my house." The operator asked for an address. The woman whispered it, 214 West Briarwood Drive. A soft thud followed, footsteps, then a sharp intake of breath, and then silence. The line stayed open for exactly 9 seconds, then went dead, the call that wouldn't come back. Dispatch immediately tried calling the number back, straight to voicemail. They tried again, and again, nothing. Police were sent to the address within 4 minutes. But when officers arrived at 214 West Briarwood Drive, they found something that made no sense. The house was dark. The doors were locked. There were no signs of forced entry. And no one answered when they knocked. The name on the property records belonged to Emily Harper, 26 years old, a pediatric nurse at a local hospital. No criminal history. No known enemies. Described by friends as quiet, kind, and painfully private. Officers eventually entered through the back door using a master key provided by the landlord. Inside, the house was spotless. Too spotless. Emily's phone was found on the kitchen counter, fully charged. Her purse was untouched. Her car sat in the driveway. But Emily Harper was gone. The first theory, a technical failure. Investigators initially believed the simplest explanation, a technical malfunction. 911 calls drop sometimes. Cell towers fail. Devices glitch. Phone records showed Emily's call had pinged a nearby tower, but the signal cut abruptly. Network providers were questioned. Engineers ran diagnostics. Nothing was wrong. Then came the second theory, equipment failure on Emily's end. A faulty phone, water damage, a dying antenna. But her phone was tested. Perfect condition. No damage. No drop calls in its history. Then came the third theory, vandalism or sabotage. Someone interfering with local network infrastructure. Again, nothing. That's when investigators began considering the fourth and most disturbing possibility. Emily hadn't lost a signal. Someone had made sure she couldn't finish the call. Friends and co-workers were interviewed. Emily was punctual, responsible, predictable. She worked long shifts, came home, watched old sitcoms, and texted her younger sister almost every night. But something strange surfaced quickly. Emily had been packing. Not to move. No boxes. No notice to the landlord. She was packing documents. Her laptop search history revealed queries like, can a 911 call be traced after it disconnects? How long does a call stay open after silence? Witness Protection Process USA. That last search stunned investigators. Emily wasn't just afraid. She was preparing for something. Across the street lived Mark Reynolds, a 43-year-old IT contractor who worked from home. He told police he was awake that night, watching TV, windows open. He heard nothing unusual. No scream, no struggle. But traffic cameras down the block told a different story. At 2:19 a.m., a dark SUV slowly rolled past Emily's house. No license plate visible. At 2:21 a.m., it passed again. At 2:24 a.m., it stopped, just long enough for the lights to cut off. Then it was gone. Mark Reynolds claimed he noticed nothing. But investigators noticed something else. Mark had installed signal-boosting equipment in his home, antennas powerful enough to interfere with nearby cell signals if misused. When asked why, he said it was for work. That explanation didn't hold. A break in the case came from an unexpected place. Emily's sister, Rachel. While searching through Emily's storage unit, Rachel found a locked metal box. Inside were printed emails, burner phone receipts, and a handwritten note that read, "If something happens to me, it's not random." The emails revealed Emily had been communicating with a journalist under a pseudonym. The topic? Insurance fraud tied to staged home invasions. Emily had been treating a child at the hospital whose injuries didn't match the parent's story. Digging deeper, She'd uncovered a small but organized group staging fake break-ins to collect insurance payouts, sometimes escalating to real violence. One name appeared repeatedly in the emails: Mark Reynolds, the neighbor. Investigators now believed Emily had planned that 911 call. It wasn't a cry for help. It was a record. Emily had learned the group planned to silence her. She knew they monitored her phone. So she waited. She called 911, not to talk, but to create a timestamp, a digital footprint, proof she was in danger at a specific moment. Then she left the line open. When the footsteps approached, she stopped speaking on purpose. What investigators believe happened next shocked even seasoned detectives. Emily wasn't taken. She walked out the back door, on her own. Phone pings placed Emily briefly near a bus terminal 2 counties away, less than an hour later. Security footage showed a woman matching her description boarding a late-night bus. She wasn't struggling. She wasn't restrained. She looked calm, prepared. Mark Reynolds was arrested on fraud charges weeks later after authorities unraveled the insurance ring. But he was never charged in Emily's disappearance. There was no body, no evidence of a crime at the house, no proof Emily was harmed, just a call. 2 years later, a journalist in Oregon received an envelope with no return address. Inside was a single-page letter, typed and signed. It read, "The call worked. You listened. They watched. Silence was the only way out." Attached was a newspaper clipping. The headline read, "Insurance fraud ring dismantled in Ohio. Authorities believe Emily Harper is alive, living under a new name, still silent." And that 911 call, the one that went quiet, wasn't the end of her story. It was the moment she disappeared on purpose, forever.